Let's welcome Vicky and Danni with the Spiritual Gateway for wonderful conversation about their story, authenticity, and how they arrived at where they are today at this point on their journey. To learn more about the Spiritual Gateway, find them on YouTube, TikTok, and major social media platforms. And be sure to check out their Linktree to stay up to date. I want to give the listeners a little bit of not really a plan, but how I see the conversation going is we want to hear about your story because I know it's phenomenal. We talked about trusting the process. The way that I put that is like trusting your life. And I also want to ask you guys a little bit later on too, how what you're doing seems to have a life and a mind of its own, right? So you're not really actively forcing anything. You're just following this energy. We decided we were going to ask the board what to ask the board, and you've got the board here. So we're going to later on see what comes through there. Just again, we're trusting the process and you're trusting the process. So we're going to do that more towards the end of the conversation, but will you two, Vicky and Danni, explain to me a little bit about how you arrived at this point of building this amazing community and just doing all the things that you've wanted to do when before you were kind of at you felt like you were at a block, like you couldn't quite achieve it, right? But then something happened and it just became alive. You want to explain that?
Okay, so people will probably look at us and think we've appeared out of nowhere overnight, which isn't the case at all. For about 3 years, we were constantly trying to build this vision we had in our head. We wanted to help people. We wanted to kind of share our sort of knowledge we had, and we saw so many people who had so much capacity within themselves but didn't really trust themselves a lot. So we kind of started off in our local village hall. We were actually doing a mediumship and psychic development circle. And that's literally how we started. I think there was about 6 people that came to it. It was a weekly thing, and we used to help them expand and connect into their own innate psychic and mediumship capabilities, because we very firmly believe that everybody has the capacity to connect in with themselves, connect with spirit, connect with our higher selves. But a lot of the time, the issue comes that we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust what we receive. So our circles are basically aimed around helping people to trust themselves and their messages that they were getting.
And kind of coming away from the old-fashioned style of teaching where you follow a process, do this,
Yeah.
Or with symbolism, for example, such and such would always mean this. We kind of wanted to steer people away from that so that they became more free to intuitively feel into things themselves and how to do it.
Yeah.
So it's about helping people kind of build their own symbolic language around mediumship, about
their own way of
connecting, grounding, whatever it is you need to do.
And basically trusting the fact that that was right for them. Just because, say, I did it a different way didn't mean that they were doing it wrong. They were doing it perfectly for them in that moment. So that's kind of where it all began.
Yeah, and then eventually that run its course, didn't it?
It did.
But it was kind of in a way where we kind of felt that it was the universe nudging us along. It's time to move on now.
Yeah.
Even though a little bit we were holding on to that in the beginning.
Yeah, we did.
So anyway, we went with that in the end. And for ages, we built a website, a really good website, actually.
Not you built it, not me. I had nothing to do with it.
So yes, even if I may say so myself, it was a really good website.
It was phenomenal.
It was good. And we were really proud of it. But something just wasn't right. And the one question that we kept getting is, what are we not seeing?
Yeah.
What are we not seeing?
And for years we kept saying the same thing. We're doing what we wanted to do. We were offering services to people. We were offering tarot readings. We were doing online mediumship and psychic development courses.
I think the thing is, we knew we were good at what we did. We knew that we were capable of the mediumship. We were capable of the tarot. We were capable of the Reiki, the teaching. We knew that.
We just didn't understand
in our
why.
Heart, be honest.
Yeah, it wasn't
exciting.
It wasn't. it got to that point where it didn't excite us.
Even when we did get the odd reading, and it was the odd reading, I'm talking like 1 or 2 every 6 months.
Yeah.
But even when we got the odd one, we'd be like, oh.
We did.
And we don't really see us in the board reading. We weren't board reading then, it was tarot reading. And we love tarot, but
it just lost its
sparkle. And we didn't feel it was really for us anymore.
No.
But because it was our business and it was what was paying us, we just felt this kind of to saying no to not doing it, and we kept doing it.
Yeah. Even though we say it was our business, it was paying us, it wasn't really, because we weren't hardly getting anything. But we still were like, well, no, because that does bring money in, and if that doesn't happen, how else are we supposed to create this thing we're trying to create? And we were doing paranormal investigations in our free time for YouTube, which we still do because we absolutely adore them. And we were using not this spirit board, a different spirit board, but we were using the spirit board then for paranormal investigations in a completely different way. And we started using the spirit board then to communicate with our subconscious, because we couldn't understand why we were doing the thing we know we're supposed to be doing. We're going in the direction we know we're supposed to be going in, but nothing is working. No matter what we do, it doesn't work.
And we needed the question answered that we kept getting.
Yeah.
What is it we're not seeing? Because that question kept repeating for both of us. So we needed to answer that question.
Yeah. So we tapped into our subconscious, and we got some phenomenal answers through our subconscious. It gave us the things that we were holding on to that were blocks for us, things we didn't even realise that were blocks for us. And once we started working on that, things did start to slowly open up. And then you said one day, well, we can do mediumship and we know we can use a spirit board. Why don't we try and use a spirit board in a mediumship way? And I looked at it and I was like, TikTok and social media are going to hate that because it's got such a stigma around it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that too. Yeah.
It's important to say as well is when I said that, I meant on TikTok.
Yeah.
People watching on a live.
We were doing tarot readings.
We were doing tarot on a live. And actually, in all fairness, even though our account wasn't huge, we were still just under 10,000. We were getting close to that monetization mark. We were getting close to the 10,000. And it was my son actually that said to me, he's an adult, he said to me, Mum, why are you doing all the stuff on the website, the services and things? What's the one thing that is actually working a little bit? And I said, the most TikTok. At least people are showing up. And he said, well, why aren't you concentrating on that then? Why aren't you concentrating on that rather than the website? So we started doing the Ouija board.
Well, we took the website down. We made the decision. We spent all that money, all that time building it. We're like, you know what? We're going to take the website down. We're going to stop doing readings. We're going to focus on TikTok.
That was a hard decision. It wasn't just an overnight decision. There was resistance there, but eventually we looked at each other and we were like, we got so frustrated in the end that we were like, well, we can't do this anymore. What have we got to lose? Let's take the website down. It's not working. Let's just have fun. We didn't even go into the TikTok doing the board thinking this is going to get us to go big.
We just wanted fun.
We were like, let's just have fun on there. And if people like it, people like it. If they don't, we just,
never mind.
Don't we? And oh my God,
it blew up. It went mad, didn't it? And we were like, what is going on? One, this board has got a huge stigma around it. Why are people so like, why are they like watching us and they're not going mad? I mean, some people still do, but what is going on? Totally didn't expect it from a little almost flippant comment you made about, well, why don't we just use the board?
And it was a flippant.
It was a really.
I nearly couldn't have maybe made that comment. It was that.
Yeah. And I just went,
It seems. Yeah, it seems like what a lot of us go through when we're like, how can I express myself? How can I have fun? How can this be enjoyable? Because we forget when we're building or expressing ourselves that it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be forceful or rigid. And I feel like we all go through that force versus flow. And when you can, like they say, get out of our own way, but they never really tell us what that means. Right?
No,
get out of your own way. You're in your own way. Get out of your way and let things happen. But it also helps me realize too that it was all working behind the scenes for you. You just didn't
Yeah.
see how.
Yeah. No, that's the thing, because we had this idea in our head of what we wanted to build. So then we created like this pathway of how we should get there, which wasn't allowing for the universe, whatever, to weave its magic in the way. We were kind of blocking that because we were like, that's where we want to be, and we do this, 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 and this to get there. And when we spoke to you before, and I said it's almost like we're the rat in a maze, and we want to get through this wall, and we're banging our head against the wall because we were like, that's where I want to be. And the universe is like, but there's so much, there's an easy way to get there, and it's going to be 10 times as fun if you go the way I want you to go. And once we realized that, and we're like, you know what, nothing else is working, we'll do this, it brings us joy, we love it. Everything just clicked. And that was literally, when was that? February?
I think it was February.
February. And it's just,
and I think
skyrocketing.
actually as soon as we like let go of that control, as soon as we stopped forcing it, as soon as we stopped having expectation,
just let it flow,
and just went, do you know what, let's just have fun, let's just see what happens. And
it's so funny because I always used to say to Vicky all the time, we need to be in flow state, we need to have fun. Having fun is, you know, the way of bringing in abundance. You can't not get the thing you're after if you're having fun, you're in flow. And you've got a much more like level head on you. I can be quite airy there, and she'd be like, but being in flow and having fun isn't going to bring the money in, isn't going to pay the bills. And I'm like, but if you're doing the thing you're supposed to do and you're having fun with it, it has no choice but to bring you the things you need, so you continue to do it. And you didn't believe me. And now we sit and we have fun every single day, and we love what we do, and it's abundant in all sorts of ways. So
I call that the natural order of things, like nature. Right? We don't have to force nature to do something. We don't have to talk it into doing something. It's just doing it all the time. Like the way that our body heals, or, you know, you get a cut on your finger, or like anything. We don't have to force it. It just, there's a natural order to everything. And it's interesting that we sometimes isolate ourselves outside of this natural order of things, like it doesn't exist for our own path, that it doesn't exist for us, but it does. And you and other creators are living proof of that. When you allow the natural order of things that's already weaved into everything, it does feel like magic for a while, but then you realize that's just the natural order of things. I didn't have to force myself here. I just allowed myself for that to align with me.
Exactly. And I think one of the best telltale signs ever is the frustration. When you're constantly frustrated, it shows that you're not quite in alignment with where you're supposed to be, and to pay attention to that frustration. Because I mean, I don't feel frustration anymore.
No, I don't.
I just, things just, don't get me wrong, sometimes there is a little bit of frustration, but it's not like it was before, like constant, like wanting to tear your hair out with, I just don't understand what we're doing and where we're going wrong. Like, it's just normal everyday sort of frustrations.
Yeah. Now, I mean, yeah, we love a certain amount of challenge, right? So I feel like learning what those definitions are for us is really helpful too. Like if you're feeling frustrated or stressed out or something, your system and your energy is telling you something, versus if you're feeling challenged, because we love to grow, and we can't grow without challenge, or going into the unknown, or presenting ourselves with something new, whether it be technology or even learning how to go along with the natural order of things. That's a challenge for a lot of people. So we love to grow in those ways.
I think that is a better word, isn't it? It is challenge rather than frustration that we feel now, because we even said the other week that I think one of my biggest challenges now is time, because it's all of a sudden I'm really busy. And for a long time,
you weren't used to it.
We weren't busy, were we? Because what we were trying to do wasn't happening. And so lately, I'm trying to get into a routine, because it's all very new and there's all these different things to do. And I love routine. That's just me as a person.
You do.
But then I kind of we had a conversation about the challenge of of now being quite busy, and it's like, well, the me 1 year ago would have absolutely loved this challenge. To know that I've got this challenge now because this is what we wanted. So, all right, in the moment, yes, it's challenging because it's new more than anything, I suppose, but it's also what we were dreaming of.
Yeah.
So,
And so we're really grateful for that challenge.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's a calibration with change too. And honestly, in my experience, every time I've leveled up or something shifted into what I wanted or thought I wanted, that calibration and change is so unknown that it feels like, whoa, wait a minute, right? But like there's always some kind of challenge that presents itself with every consciousness jump or, experience jump. An example is if all of our businesses like skyrocketing, we're like, oh my gosh, we have all these taxes to do, like it's a good problem to have. So we begin getting good problems to have where we're just used to something else, right? So we get to reprogram ourselves and say, hey, I get to be challenged. I get this problem of being fully booked. I get, these are great things that, like you said, you asked for. So now it's appreciating it. Like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with you.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about what you have experienced with the stigma around the board. I'd like to hear it from you because I know my experience. There's movies and there's books and there's tall tales and all these things. And I'm sure everybody listening is like, yeah, I've heard that story about the Ouija board. But you've read so many comments and you've talked to so many people. Help us understand where that was or that programmed thought process that society has versus the reality of what you have learned.
Okay, so I think it surprised us actually that the majority of people have been very welcoming.
It definitely did surprise us.
But of course, there were people that were either frightened, not rude, just frightened, which is fine.
Yeah, I get that.
Then there were people that were rude.
And the things we have been called.
Yeah, we've been called
Also.
witches, devil worshippers.
Yeah. I mean, you can imagine some things we can't say, the things we've been called.
And we kind of expected that. It's okay. But I think a lot of the problem with the board versus like other spiritual tools is that the board has been used in movies.
It is, and it's heavily stigmatized and heavily distorted. I mean, I think we're brought up, sorry, just coach it. We're brought up as children. We hear stories about this where predominantly usually it's children who have used them and had a less than positive experience. And we see it in movies where it's used to conjure things and, demons or whatever are then plaguing people's lives. But in reality, it is purely just it's a piece of wood. It is a tool, but
it's a brilliant tool, and it will get you accurate messages. Whereas like tarot cards, maybe that the messages, if you can't interpret them, it's a bit more difficult, especially if you don't know tarot or the thing with the board is that it spells it out. It literally spells it out. It is brilliant.
Yeah.
And if used correctly, it can be so accurate, can't it? I think the problem is that one, people don't realise what they're doing and they see it as playing. One thing that is repeated in the comments that we get is it's adults that are commenting, yet they always start the comment with, you shouldn't be doing this because when I was a kid,
it's always starts with that.
Like, but when you was a kid, you probably shouldn't be doing a lot of things.
We made a video on this talking about that specific sort of experience that children have and I think in the video I talk about, if everyone was going, it's dangerous. And I say basically, well, a motorbike in the wrong hands is dangerous if that person hasn't learned to ride the motorbike, doesn't have the right safety equipment, isn't going in, with a mindset of being aware of other users on the road and other pedestrians, that becomes dangerous. But if a person who's done the lessons, is very respectful of other users on the road, isn't under the influence of anything while they're driving, has all the correct gear, that motorbike is no longer dangerous because it is being used in the correct way. The same goes for this. It's a piece of wood. It is a tool. There's nothing magical about it. The person using it is actually the channel. So whether you're using tarot, pendulums, dowsing rods, scrying, any form of divination, it's never the tool you're using that is the channel. It's always the person using it that's the channel. So if you're going to go and use any sort of spiritual tool, if you are in a negative mindset, or if you're going in a fear-based mindset, expecting something, wanting something, which is what happens with children. If you're going in under the influence of alcohol, or you're not going in with good intentions, you are going to get mirrored back to you that experience. So when children go in using these, or adults who go in using these, and they've heard stories of, oh, when I was a kid, this happened, and I've seen this on movies, they're already going in with the expectation that something fearful is going to happen. And that is exactly the experience they're going to attract back to them. It doesn't necessarily mean that there's something really negative trying to communicate with them. It just merely means that their energy, where their energy is currently, is attracting something of the same energy towards them. So, and that is half the problem, and why the stigma is created with it, because it's always children or people who don't have respect for spiritual work and energies who are using these tools.
But then you also do get mediums, clairvoyants, that I would suggest respect spirit, but will still go into using the board with fear because of what they've heard from the movies, other people. And so they can use their tarot cards or their crystal ball or just channeling free flow absolutely fine with no fear, and that's okay, but then can't use the board. And so therefore they're still going to then get
that energy attracts that energy.
Yeah.
So we are trying to show people that it's not something that needs to be feared. It is something that needs to be respected, like any other spiritual tool you use. It has to be respected.
And you have a choice who you channel. I mean, on private investigations, when we're out ghost hunting, we use a different board, and we are so open in a respectful way, in a sensible way,
all energies,
to communicate with the different energies within the building that we're looking at. But when we do these sessions, absolutely not. We are closed off to anything outside of us. We are communicating with wholesale aspects of wholesale, and that's all that comes through. And that's why it's such a peaceful experience that comes through so, in such a loving way.
That's the thing. And it's lovely to see a lot of people's comments, because they say, for years I've been really frightened of these boards, and you've actually changed my perspective on them, because I can see that you don't need to be frightened of it. It's not evil. You're not summoning things. Exactly.
I think as well, just really quickly, just to finish this question off, though, it's important to say, because we get a lot of comments of people saying, oh, look, they're pushing it. But the thing is, if we're getting the correct information, it doesn't really matter if you're standing on your head with a lollipop in your mouth and you're getting the correct information. It's the information that's the evidence. Yeah. It's not whether I'm doing that or whether it's kind of like floating on there on its own. I've got a blindfold on, which they expect us to do.
Yeah.
If the information that is coming out of my mouth can be confirmed by somebody else, or, when we look up a distorted word, yes, that is a word, that is the evidence. And of course, for this to move, it needs our energy.
Yeah, because people forget. I think, and don't get me wrong, this does happen. I think people sometimes think that there's a spirit stood there moving it around,
and it's not a party trick.
And that very much can happen. It can, but one, it will be very, very slow. You'll hardly get any information because it takes a lot of energy. We channel our whole self. So what people are unaware of is our vessel is the channel, and our, like, this is an extension of our bodies. So the only way it can move is if we move it. We're not moving it in a conscious way. We don't know what it's going to say. It's very subconscious. We are unaware of it, but we are receiving the information into our bodies, and it is our bodies pushing that message out onto the board.
I always compare it to, I think that the closest, other than free flow channeling, the closest tool or way of comparing it to something else is automatic writing.
Yes.
So it's very similar to automatic writing. And if somebody's automatic writing and channeling that way, nobody ever says, well, you're moving the pen.
That's so true. Well, of course you're moving the pen. The same thing applies. Yes, of course we are moving it. It's not a conscious choice there. We're not sat here. I think people think we're sat before sessions going, I'm going to say this and it's going to...
Yeah.
No. And we do it live. We sit on live for like 2.5 hours sometimes, and people see it in real time. There's no way we can remember 2.5 hours worth of information if and usually we go on live without even knowing what we're going to talk about.
I think as well in the lives, it is probably better for other people watching, because they then witness when the board spells something wrong, or when a word isn't quite, we're like, hang on, didn't get that, you're going to have to do that again. You know, it's not quite as perfect as it is in the recorded videos, which are edited, because they need to be shorter and they need to be clipped. People don't have great attention spans. They're not going to sit there and wait for you to go, oh, didn't quite catch that word, can you do it again? You've just got to put it in. So
and I do notice with a lot of the, I know you fast forward a lot of it just to speed through, but even consciously, if I was trying to spell that fast, you know, on normal speed, and like you said, make that up, I wouldn't be able to. But I love what you said, that, you know, there's all these methodologies, and there's automatic writing where you can just get up in the morning, just, you know, ask out loud or to yourself, what do I need to know today? And something will come through, right? And with tarot cards or verbal channelers, who we've seen many come into our reality and our experience, who you could find all over the web, you know. But one of the things I always asked myself when I was having like disbelief of like, oh, is this true? Is this true? Is this true? I just asked myself, but does it help? Because we tend to put a block up on things we don't understand, and we don't have to understand it, right? But if we can see that it helped, or if it shifted something, or gave me more awareness of something, or made me feel more calmer, or, you know, shifted my energy in some way, like that's really all that matters at the end of the day is, but did it help? And that's
the thing. And we always say to people, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You know, everyone's at a different stage of their journey, and what resonates with you now may not resonate with you in 6 months. And that doesn't mean that what you feel now is wrong. It just means that you're evolving and you're growing, and you're not designed to stay the same. You're designed to grow and change, and your beliefs will grow and change as you grow and change. And that's very normal.
Well, we have just put out some really old videos that we
had like 3 years old.
Yeah, we uploaded them to YouTube 3 years ago, and they're just us chatting. And yeah, it was a long time ago, and we took them down. Recently, we just had this intuition, or you did, to put them back up, and people are loving them. And
our beliefs aren't quite the same as they were then.
We have kind of evolved from that a little bit, but even so, it's still
relevant information.
Yeah, and people enjoy it. So
yeah, and it's helping them. I love that. And following our intuition is, you know, it's leads us to things that we can discover further also, which you've done up to this point. So tell me a little bit about who you're talking to, because that's been a question I see happen up, you know, to come up quite a few times. And I've watched enough of your videos. I know basically the information that you shared on your channel, but who are you talking to when you're asking these questions? Because people think, oh, it's a person and his name's, you know, blah, 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 or tell us your real name, you know, so go ahead and share.
A while ago, we found out that we are actually part of the same whole.
Yeah.
So what people would refer to as their higher self, we were told about the higher self, and we were told that the higher self is it's not just one person, it's lots of different fractals, we being the fractals that, you know, a group, or we don't know exactly how many, but
You know, I mean, the way I like to look at it is, it's like the whole self, the higher self is like a disco ball, and each mirror tile would be an individual fractal of the whole self. But when they're all together, it creates the whole. So we're from the same whole.
we are from one disco ball. We are each a mirror
tile
on the disco ball. There will be many others of us, but
yes.
But we haven't. Well, I don't think we've met them. We might have done.
I don't know.
But we've met each other.
Yeah, so we have met each other.
We've shared many lives together.
Mm-hmm.
And we have shared other lives. Actually, as one fractal.
As one fractal.
Yeah.
So one,
if that
soul
makes sense.
piece.
Yeah, and we split for this life to make two fractals.
Well, we had to because we couldn't do this otherwise.
Yeah.
we communicate basically with our whole self, so that the entirety of the fractals within the whole self. But more specifically, like the most pertinent fractals that hold the best information that we would need in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So that varies. We've communicated with Archangel Gabriel, who is a oversoul of our whole self. We found out, which was quite interesting. We communicate a lot with the unified version of us, which resides on plane 6, which is ancient Egypt.
High priestess.
High priestess, where we are one together. So we communicate a lot with that energy.
We do. There's also a Lyran version of us.
Mm-hmm.
And his name, we don't know his full name. We don't know it's because maybe we don't know how to pronounce. We wouldn't be able to pronounce it properly. But he introduces himself as Fan.
Fan, yeah, Fan. Fan.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect of us.
There's that aspect of us, and that's one
as
well. There's also from playing 1, Land of the Giants.
We laugh about it every time.
So
we're sisters.
We're actually two souls on that plane. Mm-hmm. So like we are on this plane where we are split.
Yeah.
And we're sisters. Mm-hmm. And Danni is called Carloy.
And you are
Gertie.
Sorry, I don't know why I find that so funny.
Danni finds it really funny.
I find it hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing when we found out there's a video of me and I'm literally wetting myself because I'm laughing. But I mean, realistically, so yeah, we basically communicate with, depending on the information that we're asking about, will depend on the fractal we communicate with. But the fractal is always a part of our whole self or our oversoul, as in Archangel Gabriel. It's never from a different, so we've always got an energetic attachment to it, which is why we can easily bring that in. Well, I say easily, sometimes it's not easy, but it's why that information can flow through us easy, because energetically we are connected to them. So yeah, that's who we communicate with. We've done videos of it explaining it a bit better than this in the moment, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense because, we've heard from other channelers even that there's oversouls. And I think one of the channelers I listened to a long time ago from the 80s had said there's 300,000 or so primary oversouls, and we're all fractals of that. And I thought that was fascinating, right? But also I love that you are connecting with versions of yourself, because when we study quantum physics, and we go deep into realizing and experiencing that all this version is now. Like there's nothing else that exists. Like I think it's like 6 p.m. your time and it's 11 for, there's this time difference, but we're both in this present moment now. There is really no difference. And I'm existing and you're existing. And quantum physics shows also that every version of ourselves also exists in this moment. So you're tapping into that energy, whether we're putting it into a linear timeline of past or future or, prehistoric or whatnot, it's still a version of you that you can connect to. And then it sounds like, and in addition to that, there's other energies that you're channeling that you're connected to, maybe not a version of yourself. Is that correct?
outside of these sessions, yes. But in these sessions, we will only connect to versions of us, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
We do connect with our subconscious as well. But obviously that is still part of us. We're not entirely sure how that works. We're still discovering that, aren't we?
Yeah.
But we feel that's more the us now, as in ourself, but our inner true self now. So there is that too.
There is that. We have brought through information on live sessions where we've connected to Yeshua. But again, when we've talked about it, that is actually still connected to whole self, our own soul in some way. We still don't understand how, but it is still connected energetically. And Merlin, but still again, it's like, I don't think there's a specific aspect we've connected to yet that isn't connected to us when it comes to doing these sessions. But outside of these sessions, when we're either working on our own or we're doing other things, then we can connect externally to other energies if we choose to.
I see. And it's very, like I just to circle around about a bit about what we talked about in the beginning, is that it's very comforting to be able to discover this with you guys as you go. And like, you don't know all the answers, and you're okay with that, because we're also taught, like, you need to be an expert, you need to know this, or you need to know that before you step out there and do something. So let's talk a little bit about authenticity and your advice to creators stepping into their highest expression or their soul path, or whatever word we want to use for that. And then we'll just move into asking the whole self or the board, we'll go into that series or that experience. But what could you give listeners as far as understanding or trust about their journey?
Whoa. You kind of have to feel the fear and do it anyway. We had to overcome imposter syndrome when we started doing this, in the fact that we very much were like, well, we don't know half the topics that come up on this. We're not quantum physicists. We're not, we haven't studied religion for years. We don't know all these huge spiritual concepts. We know what we know, but
we also, and I think it's important to say this, because a lot of the information that we get from the board, and we're not choosing that information, it's what wants to be shared, but a lot of it kind of falls into the truther community, into the what some people call conspiracy, that side of things. And neither of us are, we definitely see the corruption, we definitely see what's wrong, but we've never really
spoken about it.
It's not, we don't research it.
No.
Before this, we were never big on, well, what's the latest conspiracy, or what are the truthers saying, or let's keep up to date with the truther community.
Yeah, we just kind of,
not because we didn't believe it, or not because we thought they were wrong. I promise you, it's not that. Just because it just didn't what we did. Us. It just wasn't really what, like, if I put YouTube on at night, it was probably to watch
Anthony Peake
and something about spirituality rather than a truther video. So like, yeah, it's
the information that comes out, a lot of people know about, and we're like, never heard of this. Is this the thing?
Or we get a lot of comments saying, can you ask about this, which would fall into the more conspiracy truther area, and we're like, yeah, we can, but we don't know anything about it. But it doesn't matter that we don't know anything about it, because actually that makes it better, because our ego can't get involved then. We don't have an opinion on it.
Yeah. And so we are hoping to try and help people to see that you don't have to have a degree in something to be able to share information. You don't have to be perfect to turn up and speak. You just have to turn up.
You have to turn up.
Just by being you, even if it's frightening and you think, I don't know anything, how can I talk about this? I promise you that is going to attract more people to you than turning up with you thinking that you know everything and you have every answer. Because
like a rehearsed script.
Yeah, because if you just turn up, you feel that fear, you share what you have, you admit, and look, I don't know everything, but I'm still here and I'm still going to share. That authenticity, you can't fake that no matter how hard you try. And people see that not so much in our videos, but in our lives. We sit there, we get flustered. We're like, I don't understand what's being said. We're like trying to understand these concepts in the moment, and people on, who are watching our lives are helping us to understand it, and we're sharing information back and forth. And we just are there in our most vulnerable, authentic version of us.
And if there's one comment that we probably got more than any other comment, it is, we love how real you are.
Yeah.
We love how relatable you are.
Yeah.
We love the fact that you don't know everything. Yeah. And I think that is worth its weight in gold, because when you can show up and you can teach, and that has got its place. We're not saying it hasn't got its place. It absolutely has. But I think I've done it myself. I've sat and watched channelers before, and I've tried to enjoy the channeling, but then they get technical and they bring quantum physics into it, or they talk about dimensions, and that's great. But I'm like, okay, I'm lost now.
Yeah.
And it's said so beautifully, and it's very articulated, and but
we don't understand it.
We don't do that. And I think because we just give it as it is, and from our level of understanding, other people can sit there and go, do you know what? It's a breath of fresh air.
Because they're feeling the same as well. Like, we get this information, and then we're asking. Some people have even commented, you're asking really stupid questions that are really simple. And I'm like, yeah, because I don't understand it. And the majority of people who are watching don't understand it. So we're asking really basic entry-level questions to gain a very basic entry-level understanding. Like, even earlier, we were asking about CERN, and we were like, we don't understand what CERN does. So we were literally like, can you explain it like I'm 5 years old? Because that's the only way I'm going to understand whatever CERN is and what CERN is doing, if you tell me like I'm a 5-year-old.
We asked about the Higgs boson, was it?
And called it jelly.
He said, imagine it's like jelly. Oh, okay. I can do that.
But then, so it makes it easier for us to understand. And 99% of the people who watch us are also in the same boat. They want to learn more about these concepts. But sometimes when you're learning off a person who's so knowledgeable and has spent so many years doing it, sometimes they're so used to explaining it in a very deep way that it's very difficult for you with a very entry level understanding to take that in and understand it.
But that is our experience. And I think the most important message in everything we've just said there, because we have to say it from our experience and how it's kind of worked for us, but the main message in that is show up as you, because it doesn't matter if you are the phenomenal teacher that talks about the dimensions of quantum physics, or you are the person like us that needs it like being told like a 5-year-old. You're always going to have an audience.
Yeah,
you are going to attract other people like you who are going to love you because you are the person that's being able to show up for them.
Yeah,
that they needed in that moment. Yeah. And so who do you need right now, and what do you need right now? And if you can be that, then there's going to be other people that appreciate that.
Yeah,
and it's real.
We just kind of want to inspire people to be themselves, be authentic, not have to have the answers to everything. Just turn up, because every person's voice is valid, and everyone has information that needs to be shared in their own unique way, because there's no two people alike on this planet, and everybody's going to have a completely different perspective and a completely different, we do as well, because even though we share very similar thoughts, we do have very different perspectives on things. But
there's enough people in this world for you to fit some people,
Yeah.
isn't there?
And then just show up and do the thing, feel the fear, but then feel the excitement and just watch as the magic unfolds around you.
And listen to that voice, because if you keep getting that message, I should be out there, I should be sharing this, I should be doing this, it's what I want to do, then that is the voice. You need to listen to that.
Just start. We all have to start somewhere, you know.
Listen to
Easier said than
yourself.
done, but
Yeah, could you imagine? I have had this discussion a lot where ready is an illusion. Like it's not an endpoint. It's just made up, and it's something like it can escape you too. So you can feel ready one day and not ready the next. So starting today, now, right now, like the how is in the now. So if you're wondering how to step into your path and live your highest expression and have fun and be supported in every way, we have to be brave, and a couple of things that came to my mind just as you were speaking is there's a truth that's magnetic, and that we can also translate into authenticity, right? So when you're speaking your truth and when you're willing to be you, that's magnetic. And for what you do, you have to be you, because if there's any kind of, oh, this isn't good enough, or, oh, I need to learn more, like you would be blocking the channel that you're allowing all this information to flow through. So if you felt like, oh, I have to understand all of this before I can even start, there would be,
We
you
get stuck.
wouldn't, yeah, you would be, who knows, you'd probably be trying to do your tarot card still, right? You wouldn't be sharing, you wouldn't have this community, you wouldn't be learning as you go. And I feel like we forget that the journey is the point. The process is the whole point of us discovering ourselves and learning who we are and being willing to be us. And yeah, and the other thing that came to mind is for me, I'm on this path too, learning like, oh, this is my thoughts getting in the way again, or oh, this is my worry, or which is all thoughts anyways, worry, fear, it's all thoughts anyways, right? So we just have a habit of letting those thoughts get in the way. But when we can be willing to let life live through us is when, in the beginning for me, it felt like, oh, I'm not important anymore because I'm not needed for this process. But then I realized like, oh, I am this process because I am life.
Exactly, that's the thing. And I think everyone becomes so focused on like an end goal, but there never is an end goal, because you're always moving towards something different and shifting and changing. So that end goal is always changing. So it's like, stop focusing on the end goal and just focus on the now. What can you do right now that's going to move you a step closer to whatever it is that you're trying to build or trying to do? Because that, like we said earlier, there's only now. Next week doesn't matter. It isn't even here. Yesterday isn't here. You only have now. What can you do right now to be and turn up as your authentic self? Move towards the things that bring you joy. What can that look like in the moment? It doesn't have to be big, massive things. It's just little steps every day. And those little steps build up, and then you stop and you look back and you think, whoa, I've come so far, and I haven't even realized it because I've been so engrossed in the fun and the process of growing and learning that, time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, I think authenticity is definitely the most important thing. It's amazing really when you think about it as well, the fact that you and I are so different. But I mean, we love each other to bits. We get on really well. We do argue.
We do.
But I wouldn't be without her. She wouldn't be without me.
No, she loves me.
I do love her. But the thing is, we are really different. But that's good because neither of us are molding for each other. We use our differences to create, and that shows.
We're very different, but very similar.
But it works.
It does work so well.
And I think it's really weird as well that we both got our diagnosis of neurodivergent a couple of years ago.
Within like 6 weeks of each other.
within 6 weeks of each other, not planned either. But it's strange because I think for years you and I both masked, and we were masking,
and we weren't being authentic.
And then the minute that we stopped that masking is when actually our lives took off. Not straight away with this, because we had that 3 years first, but we met.
Yes.
So that was like the beginning. Am I making sense?
Yeah, to me you are.
Yeah.
To me you make it.
I know I'd make sense
But
to you.
that's what something that is said a lot as well, and it frustrates you a little bit on the lives, because obviously I have ADHD. I'm like a shiny squirrel syndrome. I'm very excitable. I'm very animated. I can be very loud. You're very like calm and very much like thought in your mind. You like to think things through. I just blurt things out in a moment. And like people are always like, what's the matter with Vicky? And I'm like, there's nothing the matter with her. That's just her being her. But because I'm so opposite to you, it's really unfair on you, because like they're like, I don't like. It's almost like they expect you to be like me or me to be like you, and I'm like, well, no, because that's not us being authentic. I cannot sit there and be quiet and be all thoughtful. It does happen occasionally, but it's very rare. And Vicky cannot be all animated, and even when she's excited, she's not. Do you know what I mean? And that just shows us being authentic. People can watch that sometimes and be like, oh, well, there's something wrong with you. And it's like, no, there's not. I am just genuinely being me. But people say to me, you need to calm down, and you need to bring your energy down so Vicky can talk. And I'm like, I'm not doing it purposely.
But the thing is, you know what? Other people pick that out. But when you're jumping around like a squirrel, I love it. Yeah. She was singing the other day, and she was like, I need to stop singing. And I was like, no, you don't. It's cool. I love it. But when I'm quiet and thoughtful and relaxed, you get something from me from that, because when you're jumping about, I ground you without even having to do anything. I am anchoring her. And so for us, it works.
Yeah, and it makes perfect sense that your energy's working together, and that's how you're supporting each other throughout the experience of life that you're navigating. And I know, I have friendships and other relationships where I'm more, I don't like really using the words introvert and extroverted or isolating, anything like that, because I think we could be all of it, right? But I'm definitely more of an internal processor. So I'm processing energy internally, and I'm thinking through things more internally most of the time, unless I'm like really confused, and then I'm just saying whatever, verbalizing to organize. But some people just speak out loud to understand, right? And I really do feel like we are working with each other's energies while we're doing that. And you're right, you wouldn't be able to do what you're doing if you put on a mask to meet what we think the other person wants to see, right? You wouldn't be able to be a pillar in your own energy. And I feel like what I'm learning from you is our authenticity is that pillar of our own energy and being grounded within ourselves and true to ourselves, because otherwise we can't be a pillar to any kind of creation, where we would be too flighty, right? We'd be too all over the place if we were, oh, I'm going to be this today or this today. But when we're solid in who we are, as best as we can, human too, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Very true. Very true. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you for your insight on that. I love what I do, which brings us to our next session. So we're going to ask the board what the board wants to share, which I'm excited about because we never know how it's going to go. So
you never know what's going to be said. So
yeah, and so I don't know if. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's obviously not as quick as you see it on a video.
Yeah.
It's a bit slower in real life.
Yeah, that's okay. So I don't know if you just want to ask, what I think when we initially discussed this, we said we'll just ask the board what the board wants to share. So I don't know how you, question, form that into a question.
Okay. So,
what does our whole self want to share for the collective who'll be watching this video? Is there something that wants to be said, information that wants to be brought through?
Go ahead.
E R E S S U R
Pressure.
pressure C O M E pressure comes W H E
When
W pressure comes when we are E P E A repeat the no
pressure comes when we, is that correct?
and then it was repeat, is that right?
Pressure comes when we repeat. Next.
E E D N E D. You got it.
Are you trying to say repeatedly? That would.
Repeatedly, yeah.
Yes.
Pressure comes when we repeatedly Q U E S T I. Pressure comes when we repeatedly question O U our Y O U your. You got that? Pressure comes when we repeatedly question yourself. Ourselves, yourself.
Ourselves, yourself.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
S. Mm, S. H. Show. I. N. Showing. U. P. Showing up as. Is that S? S. O. N. Showing up as some. B. O. D. Showing up as somebody. E. L. Showing up as somebody else. Is. I am. Showing up as somebody else. Is. You got it.
Is it, is not?
Okay.
Yeah.
C. H. O. O. S. I. It's not choosing. Not choosing you. Oh, Q or R? Oh,
It's not choosing yourself.
okay. Out. No, I'm dyslexic.
It's authentic.
Oh, authentic. Authentic.
Authenticity.
I.
It went to W there, didn't it? Where?
Well,
Authenticity will.
is there more? A-L. W. Authenticity will always.
Always.
C. H. I. No, O-O. S. E.
But always choose.
Let's choose one. I'll always choose oneself. Okay. Do you remember that? Okay. Did you remember that?
I could do my best,
Pressure.
but I'd rather you try.
Pressure shows when
Let's go.
we repeatedly question
our/yourself.
This is the trouble sometimes.
This is the trouble sometimes. We have to watch videos back and go, said. Pressure shows when you repeatedly question our/yourself. It's gone.
It's like literally gone at them.
I'll tell you what
Will
I
you
got
take
because
it
yes, I was doing my best. So I wrote down and I'm going to do my best because there was a couple words I wasn't sure, but I got pressure comes when we repeatedly question ourselves.
Yeah.
yourself. Showing up as somebody else is not choosing yourself. Authenticity will always choose oneself.
That's right.
That's it.
I'm glad you wrote it down. This is the problem we have, and we do this in the moment. We bring through loads, and then we're like, I can't remember what was just said.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah,
We have had to rewind videos and watch it.
watch the
back.
movements back to respell. But yeah, basically, yeah. When you're not being authentic to yourself, you're trying to show up as something else other than your true authentic self, you're always going to feel that pressure that it's not right. It's never going to feel comfortable. You must always choose the authentic version of you.
This reminds me of that video we did a long time ago, well before we grew on TikTok, where we were looking at what people talk about when they talk about the 144,000 and the chosen ones.
Yes.
And the message we got through actually was it's not that special people are chosen, there's not special chosen ones. The 144,000 is a frequency. If anything, it's authenticity, and you can be a chosen one. Of course, you can be a chosen one, but the only person that can choose you is you. You choose yourself, and you only choose yourself through showing up as authenticity. Because when you are able to show up as your authentic self, it means you're saying, actually, I choose myself. I'm worthy of showing up in the world as my true self. So I'm choosing myself.
Yeah.
So that actually resonates with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have we kind of explained it in a way? Obviously, we've got half of what you said, but have we explained it in a good way? Would you say that's a good explanation of what you said? Y O U and you V I E and you view R E L A S I.
You got it.
And you view realize. Was it realize? No. REL. Is that correct? You're going to spell it REL. Oh, RELATI. Relation. SH. Relationship. And yes, and you view your relationships. TH. OUG. And you view your relationships through T I M E. I'm HE A L E W I. What? You got it.
Trying to give a message, but I'm a bit stuck on.
Okay. You and your See. You and your see. And, well, you and your calling.
You and your calling.
Okay.
So
Music starts. So I asked, was that a good enough explanation? And it did say yes, it did say no, but it said and. So it like added on to that.
And you view your relationship through
Healed.
versions of you.
That's the bit I missed.
I don't know.
I'm not doing very good for this bit, are we?
The music's distracting me.
And you view your relationships through healed. Can you say that last bit? Can we repeat that last bit? Is that correct what we've said so far? And you view your relationships through healed. Is that correct? Through healed. A few time. I remember that. Time.
You view your relationships through healed time and your calling or something. Are you trying to say that the relationships that come into our life are almost like showing us as mirrors how we have healed, where we need to heal, but also giving us clues to our calling and our purpose? Is that what the message is trying to get across?
Oh, okay. I'm glad you understood.
That's the way I'm taking it. Yeah, and it was a bit. Yeah.
So basically, it's about being authentic. When you're not being authentic, there's like this internal pressure you're feeling for you to show up authentically in life. But not only that,
but choosing yourself is the biggest form of authenticity. When you actually choose yourself and choose to show up in the world as you, that is authenticity. That's of most importance.
Yeah, and then also how you view relationships.
How relationships will change
based on the healing you do with yourself as you show up in the world.
But also present your calling, which is actually, now I've just thought about it, really funny with what we just said about us two meeting. Because up until not long before we met, we were both masking.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like we weren't, not allowed, but it wasn't meant for us to meet until we both kind of come to a place where the masking had stopped. Maybe not completely, but we'd start working on that. That allowed us to meet, and us two meeting is the calling. Because if this is our calling,
well, we could do this on our own.
One can't do it without the other.
Well, we can, but it wouldn't be as fun.
No,
we'd be a bit bored sat here talking to yourself.
Even if we tried to do it with somebody else, it wouldn't have this. I don't think the connection would be quite right.
Yeah.
So that's probably going a bit off what we said there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that actually makes beautiful sense to me. I mean, I love the simplicity of the first part where it's so like simple that choosing somebody else is not choosing yourself. But if we're not choosing ourselves, then how are we able to attract the things in our lives that are choosing us too?
Yes.
How can that resonance happen if we're not being authentic? And how can we get to the point to where we're allowing everything that we need to come in when we're trying to control or navigate or steer the ship, like we're so used to doing? So yeah, and that makes perfect sense. And I do believe too, the right people come in when we need them. But allowing that does take choosing ourselves over and over again every day.
Definitely. And choosing yourself is scary as well. And you've got to have a lot of fierce love for yourself to choose yourself. And I think people do struggle with that as well, to allow themselves to love themselves just as they are, without having to pretend to be something else, or be useful, or be productive, or show up as this person. To just love yourself enough to know that I'm enough, and the right people will see that I'm enough, and I don't have to pretend that I'm something I'm not. I think that's the ultimate show of self-love. So that makes sense with the healed relationships as well, because the more you love yourself, the more you heal that relationship with yourself, the more that shows in your external reality with the people you come into contact with, where they literally mirror back that love that you shown to yourself. And that's been shown to us, because we've done a lot of work on, being authentic, turning up as ourselves and loving ourselves enough to do that. And the love we receive back from people has been humbling, but it literally is like a mirror back to us, where it shows where we've given that to us, and now it's reflecting back on us. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And that's a beautiful message for the collective that's listening to this. So it aligns perfectly. And I think you're asking the board what it wanted to come through is a really good example of how you work with people too. When you do one-on-ones, which it sounds like are coming up, that you're super excited to offer that. I know you're working on that, because I hear you have a lot of interest, which obviously, like, who wouldn't want, this, it's a tool that you're using, but I also can actively see your individual inputs and translating, because you're like, oh, I know what you're saying, so you've had enough experience with the board, and both of you are translating the energy and being like, oh, this is exactly what, you're adding context to something that can help a lot of people.
A lot of the time, like, one of us, usually it's me, but one of us will give like an example or an explanation of what's been said, and it'll say no. If we've got it wrong, it'll just go no, and then it'll continue until we've explained it in a way that is correct, with kind of, because it can sometimes, the information can come out a little bit disjointed, or it doesn't quite, if you say, like, just if you say it out straight, it can be like so we do have to like interpret it, and then we'll get yes, no, or it'll add more context to it. And both of our interpretations bring sort of like different perspectives to it. So
yeah, I love that. And I have heard also that a lot of channelers have a hard time keeping track of what's coming through. So that is not new when it comes to channeling, I've heard. And sometimes they don't even remember. They're like, I don't know. Did you get that? So
this is the thing. And we say, people go, oh, do you remember when you said so-and-so on the last live? And I'm like, I don't remember any of it, unless I sit and rewatch that video, because we're doing it in the moment. We're not processing that information. It's just coming through and going back out. We have to physically sit and rewatch everything to remember what's been said in a lot of the things.
And I think like getting that message then, and then it was quite a long message, struggling to remember exactly what it said, is because it is channeling. It is in the moment, and we're not there we're not taking the message as in a conversation, as in remembering it, as if like you've just said something to us. It's channeling through us.
We're not listening to it, if that makes sense.
We are just being the tool in that moment,
outputting it. But we've been told, and I'm going to find it, you can buy software that will transcribe for you as you're saying something. So we do need to buy this software, because it will make our lives so much easier, because we can speak the letters and it will transcribe it for us.
Yeah, and there's like AI pens that you can wear. I think Zoom transcribes when you're on a Zoom. I don't know if it's live, but there's so many transcription options. There's things that will transcribe the video after you record it too. But I think you'll find out what's most helpful to you, because it might be different from your lives, your videos versus sessions too. But luckily, there's a ton of options out there. But I have heard people say, I have no idea what came through. I hope that was helpful. And they will sometimes feel the energy of the information, but not logically be able to repeat it. So
yes,
you
can feel that.
If it's like short bits, that's fine. But when we're getting like 10, 20 word sentences, I'm like, no, it's gone. And you see, halfway through, I usually go, have you got it? Because I've lost it. I don't even know what we're spelling at this point. And she'll go, yeah, I've got it, or no, I don't. And then we're like, right, we need to, and you do it as well. So you have to
depend on each other. I love that. I love that. Well, thank you, ladies. I do want everybody listening to know that you have links on all your social media, your YouTube channels, and your TikTok. You have a link tree there where they can learn more about contacting you through email. And when you have sessions available, I'm sure you'll be announcing it there. And is there anything else that you want to add to the listeners that are checking out your story, that are inspired by you, that are um, realizing we're all on this journey together?
Well, that is just it. That we're all on this journey together. We might all be on different stages of this journey, but we are all on a journey of learning, remembering, growing, and we hope that we inspire people to be themselves. Go and do whatever it is, no matter, like us, like sat here with a spirit board, no matter how crazy it is, if that's the thing that sets your soul on fire, then go and do it. It doesn't matter if everyone's like, that's a stupid idea. If you know in your heart that that's what you want to do, go and do it. Listen to yourself. You will never, ever be steered in the wrong direction when you listen to yourself. Sometimes we have experiences that maybe not be so positive, but they're still learning experiences. We learn and we grow. We can't always learn and grow when everything's fun. We have to experience difficult things sometimes to learn and grow. It doesn't mean that you weren't supposed to experience that, because if you didn't have that experience, you don't grow. But just
absolutely. I think as well, and we don't do inner child work or anything like that. It's not our area, but I do think there is an importance in listening to the child within you, because I think when you become an adult, you're that sort of sucked into the world of having to show up and do this, that, and the other, and you lose that connection a little bit. But the child you is always connected.
Yeah.
And I honestly believe that if you are really stuck, and you're like, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know where I'm meant to be going or what I'm meant to be doing. I know there's something, but I just don't know what it is. Start with your inner child. Start with that child within, because even if you look back to your childhood, there will be clues in your childhood. Even down to the games that you preferred to play, or different things. There will be clues. There will be.
Yeah. Follow your joy. Be that 5-year-old again. What did that 5-year-old want? Find fun. Yeah, start there. But yeah, just be yourself. Be your most perfect, beautiful self.
I love that. And be in wonder and curiosity. And I think that's a childlike thing, and be open to, instead of, the adulting part. I think we could all just do away with that. I think that's good advice.
If you look at the sun card in the tarot, and it's the card of success. It's at the end of not the end, but it's at the end of the fool's journey. And it's a baby. It's a baby sat on a white horse.
That's that wonder, that's that joy, that's that innocence before we started to get
for the programming
and
conditioning.
Yeah. Go back to that.
I do. I think your childhood holds key moments. It holds clues. Definitely.
I love that. Well, thank you, ladies. It was such a pleasure to speak with you. And I'm excited to watch more videos and see where they go. And it's
thank you.
Thank you for asking us.